Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to askNK. Today we have news, something really interesting I think you guys would kind of love, and it is coming from the guys at Pixologic. So the guys at Pixologic has just announced a couple of features that will probably make it to ZBrush 2020, or maybe it's going to be like 2019.3. right now we don't know how the naming system is going to be, but the features that we're seeing are impressive. I gotta tell you, there's a whole lot of things that you would probably not think that would make it to ZBrush, and just by looking at the things that they say would be coming, it is just going to be mind-blowing. A couple of things were actually demoed. The first feature that was shown is the fade opacity. So what happens with the fade opacity is it gives you the ability to actually fade your poly paint or the textures while sculpting. You know, like most people, when you're about to sculpt, you go ahead and apply a texture and maybe you can sculpt based off that texture. Now with the fade opacity, you can go ahead and turn down the opacity of the texture so that you can be able to see the model way more clear, as you go ahead and sculpt. Second one that was shown up was the Extractor Brush. To me, I think this is one of the best things that these guys have made, because this brush actually looks at, the whole undo things that you've done. You can go ahead and pick an undo point from where you started to where you want to end and copy just that particular sculpting detail and go ahead and replicate it. This is going to save a whole lot of time. So imagine like you want to go ahead and put pause on characters, or let's say you want to go ahead and make some very distinct detail. Yes, so with this you can just make one of those, extract this detail, save it as an alpha that will be attached to this brush, and you can use the Extractor Brush to paint through. The Extractor Brush is actually two. So there is the first one, which is the Extractor Drag, which you can use to actually drag, and the second one is just the Extractor Brush that comes with the dotted stroke. So with this you can be able to copy things from different timelines and go ahead and replicate the same sculpt. There is a method to doing this which was also demoed, which simply means that you can hold Control click and go over to the point where you want this particular undo or you want this particular history to be copied, and also you can hold down Control and copy. This is for you to be able to mark the beginning and the end point of the details you want to copy for further sculpting. I can already see a lot of use case for the Extractor Brush, because I think this is going to be one of the most powerful and most efficient brushes that artists would use. The fact that it can save so much time and you can apply these for so many things makes a lot of sense. This Extractor Brush would not only be used for grabbing things like alphas or sculpting details, you can also use this to grab textures. So let's say for example you want to grab a texture and you want to paint over with that texture. Yes, this is possible. They also added an inclusive A button, which can also allow you to paint the alpha over the textures, because by default when you're painting your textures and your alpha, most times the textures are on the line and the alpha is right on top. With this A button that is now at the top, close to where you can find mRGB, the M, and also the RGB, with that button right there you can now actually toggle how you want your alpha and your textures to be laid out directly on your model. A brand new brush that was also showed up is the History Recall Brush. Now, more than just using projection, the History Recall Brush kind of looks like that, but actually does a little bit more. So what happens here is, if you have like a double model, one is highly detailed and the other one is more like a sub model, let's say you've actually gone ahead to make another model that you want to use, you can use this to project details. Now the way I see this is like this. Let's say for example there are certain details you want to apply to certain parts of a model and you don't want to actually transfer as much details. With this brush you can go ahead and pick the certain details. You can also play with the intensity if you want, you can play with the size as much, and then you can lay these on the subsequent model that is attached. And this also works for several models, so it doesn't really mean that you must have a similar model to get this to work. You can also use this with other models. And just like the Extractor Brush, the History Recall Brush also works with meshes and textures, so it's going to be simple and super easy for you to transfer texture details from one model to another. It's also going to be super easy for you to transfer scanned details from a model to a base mesh and all that amazing stuff. To me, these things are going to really change the way artists work, and it's going to make a whole lot of workflow way easier. One more thing that they've added as well that makes sense to me is the poly paint utility. So right now there is a new color adjust that exists within a section called the poly paint color utility. So what happens within this section is, by default, you know how you paint your textures and you want to make certain changes. So instead of traveling all the way from, you know, Photoshop back to ZBrush, or travel all the way from Substance back to ZBrush, you know, that amazing workflow that kind of is quite boring, these guys are downscaling this. So right now, once you open up that stuff, you can use the hue and saturation and all of those amazing, you know, sliders there to actually slide through to get the perfect color that you're looking for. And this doesn't just do an overall stuff, because you can now also go ahead and mask this. So there is another masking option that is made available, which is known as mask by color. So once you open up the mask by color, a brand new window pops up, and with this window you can select the exact hue, or you can select the exact color, and you can load them into different palettes. So once you load these things up, there is a tolerance value that you can use. You can still go ahead and blur this out, and you can use this method to actually mask a certain color or a certain region of an object. So once you get the mask going, you can choose to invert the mask, you can choose to blur the mask a little bit more, and at the same time you can choose to play with the hue and the saturation using the poly paint color utility that has the color adjust. So these are very interesting things, and interesting times are upon us, especially now seeing what ZBrush has in stock, coming up with the new version that is yet to be released. Another cool feature that is coming with this thingy is you can also go ahead and tint. And you know how you go ahead and do your poly painting and you want to turn down the intensity so that you can, you know, tint a little bit. Yeah, so there is now a tint feature that also exists there. So it simply means you can just go through and tint as much as you like, you know, with parameters, and get some very nice things going. Painting on flat UVs is also something that we have found that doesn't work in previous versions of ZBrush, but right now there is a brand new thing coming to ZBrush. So now you can go ahead and paint and also sculpt directly on your UVs, which is making a lot of sense. So all of those hard times of you trying to figure out how you're going to sculpt extra details, especially if you've done all of your wrinkle and folds, yeah, so now you can just go ahead and, you know, unwrap the entire mesh and maybe lay some landmarks so that you'll be able to see where things would go and how your strokes would travel through. Especially if you want to paint directly on your model, this is going to make it super easy. So I think the guys at Pixologic have actually taken into consideration a couple of complaints, and, you know, they've gone ahead to make this version a bit more better than, you know, we used to get. So some other cool stuffs that worth mentioning is cam view. So you know how we do have this cube view that Autodesk has made, or the view cube, I guess. Now you can go ahead and see that directly in ZBrush. So now you can know where the front is, the back is, left, right. You don't need to work in some sort of, you know, blind mode. And at the same time, you can also tell where axis exists in your canvas. And, you know, instead of blindly just sculpting, not knowing where, you know, X is, Y is, or whether you should turn on the floor or not. Yes. So now this is going to be some very good guide. And I think especially for people trying to get into ZBrush, this would make a lot of sense and is going to help them learn how to use the software a bit better. Now, with this in place, you can also go ahead and create a custom one. So in case you want to make your own custom stuff, let's say you have something that you want to use as yours, you want to customize yours, there is a make cam view feature that exists, which is going to go through and, you know, take a 360 snapshot of your model and, you know, use that particular thing as your cam view, you know, widget. Now, there's also something cool that they've also showed up. So ZBrush is actually working on a Z Zoo. I think the main idea for the Z Zoo is so that it will be easy for people to go ahead and make their own models of, you know, animals and all of that stuff, or creatures, because they showcased a lot of ready-made Z-sphere amateurs that have been made so that people can just simply jump right into it. And most of these assets were set to be created alongside or in collaboration with an amazing artist known as Shane Olsen. So this to me would make a lot of sense, especially for people that just want to kit bash a lot of things real quick, and maybe if you're just not so bothered about forms, and instead of spending that time trying to figure out how you're going to go ahead and do the forms, yeah, you can get this out of the way. There is a new draft analysis, which is also incredible. So in case you're into 3D printing and you know you're into creating stuff that you would go ahead and print at the end of the day, this would make a lot of sense to you, because now you can analyze what you're making, you can go ahead and sculpt it down, sculpt it all the way up, do all of those cool stuff and get going. They did not really say a lot of things about the peel UV, which we actually saw the last time, but I think probably there is going to be maybe a rework of that, or maybe it is still under work, or probably they're going to announce it sometime in the future. But I was expecting something like that to show up, but they did not really show that. So hopefully this might make it to the final, you know, version, or probably they are still working on this thing, probably still under development. I don't know. So these are basically most of the features that was showed up, and the ones that I kind of think make a lot of sense. So which of these tools or which of these new features are you excited about? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section. And just before we go, ZBrush is still, you know, available for Windows and Mac. So just in case you want to get your hands in, the current version of ZBrush 2019.1.2, which is just the very recent one, is available, and the new license kind of cost about $895 to $900. You can get the brand new version. And if you like this video, you know what to do. Go ahead and give it a like, and don't forget to turn on notification. And if you're new here, it's gonna be amazing if you can hit the subscribe button and also turn on notifications so you get this gist the minute it drops. And until I see you guys next time with a tutorial update, Free Friday, Tutorial Tuesday, tips and tricks, things like this. Peace.